Hello and welcome back to Movie Health Community, the internet's #1 source of health warnings at the movies. As always, please keep in mind that nothing produced by Movie Health Community is medical advice, and nothing we post has been reviewed by medical professionals. Today we're talking about Eileen, the new psychological thriller starring Thomasin, McKenzie, and Anne Hathaway. But first, as always, let's ask, is this movie safe for photosensitive audiences? The answer on Eileen is yes! No more digital background of a digitally changed color here. This is a green movie. There is one moment pretty early in the film where we see spinning style police lights that are not spinning intensely. They're on one car, and it does not create a very strong flashing effect. Definitely not a very harsh one or a very frequent one. But that's it. The rest of this movie is perfectly safe for photosensitive audiences. For flashing lights, we're giving this movie a 1 out of 10. Also pretty easy to talk about the camera motion. There is nothing concerning about the camera motion. It is all stationary or very smooth. There are some mental health trigger warnings that we want to talk about with this movie. The biggest one is that the lead character has repeated fantasies that are depicted on screen that involve suicidal actions. These happen very suddenly, they can be really shocking, and they don't shy away from anything. They show everything fully on screen, so it can get pretty graphic and upsetting and realistic. There are stories told that involve abuse of a sexual nature. There is a scene after a character drinks heavily where they wake up in a puddle of their own vomit. And while trying to open a door a moment later, this person vomits again on screen. That should do it for all the warnings on Eileen. Now, is this movie any good? It almost is. I would say that the build-up starts to get really fascinating. Like, we establish these interesting characters and their interactions are interesting. We get to see the main character's home life, and there's a lot of interest and potential there. What I appreciate about this movie is I would not call it predictable. I was never sure what was going to happen in the next scene or where something that set up was going to pay off or how it was going to pay off. So I do appreciate this movie for that. I gotta say though that this movie seems to end very suddenly, and it leaves one of the major characters' stories wildly unfinished. So when this movie just suddenly ends and we haven't seen this person in quite a while, this person just kind of vanished with no explanation and no denouement for this character, just left me wanting more from the ending. This movie is kind of a slow burn, but not in a bad way. Definitely not in a way that makes it feel like a long movie. This movie is not even 100 minutes long, and it does feel exactly like its runtime. It doesn't feel longer. Doesn't feel like Priscilla, where the solid 2 hours feels longer than Killers of the Flower Moon. If the ending had matched up to the build-up that the rest of the movie had, I would be inclined to give this movie a really good grade. But because the ending just was not fulfilling and was not satisfying, I'm going to give Eileen a C-. Thank you so much to our readers on Tumblr and Facebook, and as always, an extra special thanks to our patrons over on our Patreon page whose names are scrolling across the screen like credits right now. If you missed it during our review of The Boy and a Heron, here's just a little update. Starting at the new year, these YouTube reviews are going to be posted simultaneously with the Tumblr and Facebook posts the Monday or Tuesday following the theatrical release of the film. We will no longer be posting publicly on YouTube immediately when I have these videos done, like I've been doing. These videos will become a Patreon exclusive perk for those first few days between when I see it within the first day or two of its theatrical release and when the public posting is made on the Monday or Tuesday, depending on how many movies are released in theaters that week and how many I get to see. So just be aware of that starting at the new year, that change is going to be taking effect. Be sure to like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon to be notified when we post new videos, and leave a comment below if you have anything to add to the discussion, especially if you disagree with anything I've said. We love hearing from you. And as always, stay safe at the movies.